Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. I am back in Hong Kong. The reason I'm here today is because Samsung launched the Galaxy S23 series in Hong Kong today. Yeah, I know the global launch was last week, but today Samsung Hong Kong held a local Hong Kong launch at a really awesome venue. So I went, got my review unit, and yeah, everybody is waiting for me to make this video, and I have been waiting to do it too because I am very interested in the cameras. I'm gonna test out the camera system of the Galaxy S23 Ultra against the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. If you've been watching my videos or you follow me on social media, you will know that I think this is the best camera on the market right now in a phone. But the S23 Ultra has a very impressive brand new 200 megapixel sensor developed by Samsung. So we will see how this camera system stack up against the Vivo X90 Pro Plus. Now, Vivo has set a very high bar for Samsung to meet or surpass, but if anyone can do it in the Android space, it might just be Samsung. This is also very interesting because the battle of these two main cameras in particular will be about large image sensor size versus more megapixels, because this phone has a 1-inch sensor, still a larger sensor than the 1/1.3-inch sensor used in the main camera. But this main camera, it's a 200 megapixel camera that can do crazy software tricks like pixel binning 16:1, or you can shoot with 200 megapixel full resolution and then crop all the way in, like what the Xiaomi 12T Pro did, except the 200 megapixel sensor here is newer than the one used in the Xiaomi 12T Pro. So let's begin with some video samples. So looking at these video samples, first of all, stabilization for both are really good. The days of the iPhone just having significantly better stabilization are long gone. But I think I will have to give the win to the S23 Ultra, because you see S23 Ultra consistently does a better job of keeping colors a little bit more accurate, particularly here on the Hong Kong ferry at night. You see the S23 Ultra's video keeps the shadows intact, while the Vivo X90 Pro Plus kind of makes the whole scene look a little bit too bright. That's because that 1-inch sensor pulls in so much light, and I think Vivo's software probably could have done a better job of lowering the shadows a little bit, because shadows are still good. Like, nobody wants a shot where everything looks completely bright everywhere. I think videos right here, the Galaxy S23 Ultra looks a little bit better. Now, one area the Galaxy S23 Ultra is going to win is that its front-facing camera can shoot in 4K, whereas the Vivo X90 Pro Plus can only max out at 1080p. Personally, I don't really care about shooting 4K selfies, but a lot of you guys do. So, you know, immediate win right here for the S23 Ultra. Okay, so now you're watching ultra-wide camera footage. So, by no means is this video a full review or even a final conclusion, okay? Because all the stuff I shot was in one night. I will test this phone more thoroughly over the next week before I have a final conclusion. But then now switching to still photos with the main camera. Remember, the Vivo X90 Pro Plus still has a larger image sensor size, so it pulls in a little bit more light naturally. So once again, you see that the Vivo's image is generally a little bit brighter. And on top of that, with a larger sensor also comes more depth, more like natural bokeh. So if you look at photos with more texture, things with like stuff in the foreground, the middle, and the background, you see that the Vivo X90 Pro Plus's photos just look to have a little bit more depth than the Galaxy S23's photos, which still looks a little bit flat. Particularly the lack of bokeh really makes for a flatter looking image. But on the other hand, I think the Galaxy S23 Ultra's dynamic range looks a little bit better, and colors again are a little bit more accurate. Next up, let's look at zoom photos. So we're just going to look at the 3x zoom range first. So on the Vivo X90 Pro Plus is actually a 3.5 times zoom, and it is a periscope zoom lens. Whereas on the S23 Ultra, the 3 times zoom, it's a standard telephoto zoom. Now, the periscope zoom lens, it's going to be a little bit better because periscope technology is just superior to traditional camera technology. So as you can see, Vivo's 3.5 times zoom has a little bit stronger bokeh than the 3 times zoom in the Galaxy S23 Ultra. However, Samsung's 3 times zoom has a faster shutter speed than Vivo's. So I find that a lot of times, particularly when it starts getting a little bit darker, Samsung's 3 times shot is consistently a little bit sharper and more crisp. Right here, it's a portrait mode photo, so this is artificial bokeh, and I think both edge detection is relatively on point. Now moving on to 10 times zoom. This is a clear win for Samsung during the day because it has a dedicated 10 times periscope zoom lens. However, the periscope zoom lens in the Vivo X90 Pro Plus actually has a much larger image sensor size than the image sensor here in S23 Ultra. And a larger image sensor pulls in more light. So actually when it gets a little bit dark, Vivo's 10 times zoom, it's actually a little bit sharper than Samsung's 10 times zoom, despite the fact that Vivo right here, it's a digital hybrid zoom, whereas Samsung, it's an optical zoom. Still, that's only in low light situations. When you're shooting under better lighting, the Galaxy S23 Ultra's 10 times zoom, it's a little bit better. As for the ultra-wide camera, it's pretty much neck and neck. I can't really pick a winner. But let's go back to the main camera, because that's the most important camera and really the only lens in the S23 Ultra that got an upgrade. So the Galaxy S23 Ultra by default shoots at 12.5 times megapixel. That's 16:1 binning using that 200 megapixel sensor. However, if you tap on the menu button here, you actually can shoot in dedicated 50 megapixel mode. That's 4:1 binning or full 200 megapixel. Now with 200 megapixel, you're gonna need really good lighting to reap the benefits. So right now it's nighttime. I'm not sure if it will turn out that well, but I took a couple 200 megapixel shots earlier, and you can see that you can definitely crop in a lot and still maintain details. However, you notice dynamic range is worse than shooting at 12 megapixel because 12 megapixel gives you the benefits of pixel binning. There's a reason why the 200 megapixel mode, it's kind of buried in the menu up top. It's not like a main feature because the 200 megapixel camera here, it's not designed for you to shoot 200 megapixel photos. It's better if you stick with the pixel bin 12.5 megapixel photos. And I think for the most part, the Galaxy S23 Ultra's camera, it's quite a big step up over last year's S22 Ultra. But I'm not sure I'm ready to say it's better than the Vivo X90 Pro Plus's main camera yet, because I'm just a fan of that natural bokeh, and the larger image sensor gives you more natural bokeh every single time. But you know, there's a lot more to a phone than just the camera. So the S23 Ultra also brings a new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip that's a little bit overclocked. So it might be the most powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip of all the phones right now, and it has a gorgeous 6.7-inch 120Hz display that gets brighter than last year's S22 Ultra. And I'm also a fan of this new flatter design. The screen still curves, but not as much as before, so it's a really nice in-hand feel. And then of course there's still the S Pen, so there's a lot going for the Galaxy S23 Ultra than just that main 200 megapixel camera, but it is an upgrade over the S22 Ultra. So anyway, that's about it for this video. It is actually like 1 a.m. in Hong Kong. So if you enjoyed this content, if you appreciate the hard work I put in, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel or follow me on Instagram at Ben's Gadget Reviews, where I will upload a lot more photo samples over the next week, 2, 3. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.